This announcement led to a staggering 36.5% drop in the company's stock.
Angel Reese faces financial disaster after Caitlin Clark released her podcast. While Caitlin Clark's podcast soars, capturing fans and delivering content people actually want, her longtime rival Angel Reese finds herself sinking into financial turmoil. Reese, the self-styled star of the WNBA, thought she could bank on her name alone to make her podcast a hit. But as Clark's podcast gains momentum, Reese's unapologetically Angel is in freefall thanks to massive financial struggles at Better Collective, the $820 million media giant backing her show.
And Angel Reese's Unapologetically Angel podcast have captivated fans with their mix of sports insights, cultural commentary, and fun personal stories. Both shows are part of Playmaker HQ, which operates under Better Collective, a media giant valued at $820 million.
After Better Collective's revenue tanked, with stock plummeting by a jaw-dropping 36.5%, they announced over 100 layoffs, putting Reese's show in jeopardy.
In late October, Better Collective announced over 100 layoffs. This announcement led to a staggering 36.5% drop in the company's stock.
Her WNBA salary barely covers her luxury expenses, especially with an eye-popping $100,000 annual rent, so Reese was relying heavily on her podcast to make ends meet. Yet instead of skyrocketing, her show has barely retained listeners and could see its ad revenue vanish.
I just hope y'all know the WNBA don't pay my bills at all.
Angel Reese, she should be able to get by living donation to donation with rent being $2,000 a month.
No, my rent is more than that. It's $8,000.
It's a harsh reality check for Reese, who brushed off the WNBA, claiming it doesn't pay her bills.
Caitlin Clark is not my problem. She's not my enemy. She is. And by the way the way she's been dressing and showing up. All right, if you need help paying rent, is a Angel Reese OnlyFans coming up next? I mean, it's kind of the next step. Can't pay the bills, gotta pay the rent. Showing a lot of skin. She looks okay for now.
But now depends on a shaky podcast's future. Unlike Clark, who captivates fans with genuine storytelling, Reese's podcast could be just another celebrity flop. With failed podcast icons like the Obamas and Meghan Markle in mind, Angel Reese's financial dreams may be crumbling, leaving her searching for a lifeline.
Why do you think people love Caitlin Clark besides her skills?
She can shoot threes from logo.
We never seen that before. That's my point. Steph Curry, a little kid. Like Steph Curry, I love. You know why I love Steph Curry? Because I've never seen that before.
Let's dive deeper into how Angel Reese's podcast venture spiraled into a full-blown financial crisis.
And downgraded revenue outlook for 2024 from a possible $460 million down to as low as $385 million.
Reese, a star on the basketball court, wanted to make a name for herself off it as well. To do that, she launched her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, with the support of Better Collective, a major media conglomerate valued at an astounding $820 million. For Reese, this wasn't just a passion project. Her WNBA salary, estimated at around $73,000, barely covers her lavish lifestyle.
The average rent in Chicago is around $2,000 a month. The problem for Angel Reese, her rent is $8,000 a month,
which includes a jaw-dropping $100,000 annual rent. The podcast was supposed to be her golden ticket to a stable income outside of basketball.
Unapologetically Angel brings in an estimated $5,200 to $82,800 monthly.
But Reese's financial safety net began unraveling when Better Collective faced a major economic downturn. Just this past October, the company announced over 100 layoffs, struggling with slowed growth and plummeting revenue. The real shock came with the 36.5% drop in its stock value, which hit like a financial earthquake. This is no small setback. Better Collective's revenue forecast for 2024 dropped significantly, falling from an anticipated $460 million to as low as $385 million. For Reese, this is a double blow. Not only does the company backing her podcast face instability, but these financial woes threaten her own earnings.
I'm not gonna explain again why Caitlin Clark is responsible for all of that, but either way, yes, it's true. Ratings, attendance in the WNBA, they have increased exponentially this season.
Without Better Collective's solid support, her podcast could face budget cuts, lose sponsors, or even be discontinued. This is especially risky in Reese's case because she's become financially dependent on the podcast's success. The pressure's mounting for her, as she may have to make some hard choices to avoid being buried under her own expenses.
That idiot Angel Reese is trying so hard to latch on to Caitlin Clark by being the heel and then crying about it. You all did this. You all called her a white bitch constantly. You all did this.
Caitlin Clark's rise in the podcasting world makes this fall from grace even starker, highlighting Reese's struggle as her podcast future and financial security hangs in the balance.
There is nobody interesting in the WNBA past or present except for Caitlin Clark. They've all shown themselves to be sexist, racist, petty, ridiculous.
Now, let's look at why Angel Reese's podcast is struggling to hold an audience despite her fame. Celebrity podcasts often seem like an easy win. Bring a big name to the mic, and the listeners will follow.
One thing Caitlin Clark does maybe better than anybody in sports right now makes it about others, makes it about team. Think about it. But every time you see something relative to Angel Reese, what's it about? It's about her. It's not about her team. It's about her. One makes it about her. The other makes it about us.
But Reese's podcast troubles reveal a harsh reality. Audiences expect more than just a familiar face. In recent years, high-profile podcasts like those from the Obamas and Meghan Markle have bombed despite their star power, proving that success in this space depends on delivering real value.
Look, a lot of people think just because somebody has like this famous name that their podcasts do real well. And, well, that's not true because the Obamas, their podcast completely bombed, as did the whole Prince Harry, Meghan Markle podcast venture. It was trash. Nobody listened to it. And look, regardless of the name, if nobody is tuning in to listen to the actual podcast, and more importantly, listen to it all the way through,
Reese's podcast, Unapologetically Angel, was meant to connect with fans through stories and insights, but it hasn't delivered the engaging, authentic content that makes audiences stay. This is where Caitlin Clark, Reese's on-court rival, excels.
A lot of players got the spotlight this season because of Caitlin Clark, not to mention just overall Caitlin Clark brought millions, literally, more eyeballs to the league this season.
Clark has attracted listeners by sharing compelling narratives and offering genuine insights, building a loyal fan base eager to hear more. In contrast, Reese's podcast has struggled with audience retention, particularly in the middle segments where key ad placements are made. Without listeners tuning in fully, ad revenue, essential for sustaining any podcast, could drop, creating a financial shortfall.
When it's behind your name, that's when a lot of people are like, oh, they think, oh, I don't like her because her fans are saying this. No, I don't believe in her heart that she has hatred towards me. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure she believes that I don't have hatred towards her. But I think her fan base has gone, I'm talking about like...
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
The stakes are even higher given Reese's reliance on podcast income. With Better Collective's financial support in jeopardy, Reese faces the possibility of losing her primary source of supplemental income.
It doesn't change the fact that the dump is scheduled to lose $50 million this season. And it's not like WNBA players don't know this. They know their league is a charity that survives off of generous donations from the NBA. But none of that matters to the entitled players in the WNBA.
If she can't retain listeners or generate consistent ad revenue, the podcast might not just fall flat. It could disappear altogether, leaving her scrambling to replace the income she's come to depend on. This puts Reese in a tight spot, highlighting the brutal reality that without strong content, even big names can find themselves sidelined in the podcast game.
This is such a heated debate. Now people don't even watch the game.
Because I don't want to use the B word. It's like you're watching like a high school game.
People always disrespect women regardless. They're always going to not give us the same value as a man. So I just don't even think that.
And that's why you got to do what you've been doing. Unless it's certain people playing. It's like you're watching like a high school game. Our game is different because we do all the stuff.
Reese's financial dependence on her podcast has put her in an increasingly vulnerable position.
Put some clothes on, young lady, and act like an adult. You racist!
I've been sexualized.
We understand in this world that the easiest thing for really stupid people like Angel Reese to do is to claim racism.
Her WNBA salary doesn't cover the high cost of her lifestyle, making the podcast income crucial to bridging the gap. However, the financial turmoil at Better Collective has cast serious doubt on the future of Unapologetically Angel.
I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it.
I told myself it's not racist for me to like Caitlin Clark's game and to say so publicly.
Black people are supposed to be better than white people at basketball. That's crap. Angel Reese's team sucks. Angel Reese can't make a basket.
Her fan base has gone, I'm talking about
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
If the company can't stabilize, Reese could lose her main source of supplemental income, forcing her to face uncomfortable financial adjustments.
Tell me when the last time all these players been in the league all this time. Yes. You name all the prominent players. Tell me the time the WNBA has had this much buzz. I'll wait. Everybody in the chat that y'all was saying, oh, these women been in the league before Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Tell me the time they had this much buzz. Tell me the time they had this many eyes on the draft. Tell me this many times they had watching WNBA preseason games. I'm just waiting. Go ahead, Go ahead, chat. Take off.
Meanwhile, the show's lack of listener retention only adds to the risk. Reese's inability to hold audience attention around key ad slots has likely impacted revenue potential, making the podcast less viable long-term. Unlike Caitlin Clark's popular content, which keeps fans returning, Reese's podcast struggles to offer the engaging material needed to sustain a loyal following. With both her lifestyle and income tied to the podcast's shaky future, Reese's financial outlook grows increasingly uncertain.
When I look at Caitlin Clark, fans are tuning in to watch her. And you know who that's helping? Everybody else.
What Caitlin Clark does is kind of simple, really. She shows up at games, she signs autographs, she talks to little girls wearing jerseys, she smiles to the crowd, and then here's the most important thing. She competes like a maniac. I mean like a maniac.
So where does this leave Angel Reese? With Caitlin Clark's podcast gaining traction and drawing in fans, Reese's own podcast journey has turned into a cautionary tale of financial missteps and missed opportunities.
I think Angel Reese is jealous of Caitlin Clark. She thinks she's, the reason why this is all happening here. Caitlin Clark was going to get eyeballs whether she played against Angel Reese in LSU or not.
She entered the podcast scene expecting her star power alone to secure success, but Better Collective's financial downturn, coupled with her struggle to engage listeners, has left her in an unstable position. Her reliance on the podcast's income to fund her high-cost lifestyle only adds to the urgency, as any further setbacks could force her to make drastic lifestyle adjustments.
Angel Reese, you can't beat a big bad wolf, but then kind of cry like Courage the Cowardly Dog. Because if you want to act grown, which she has, if you want to get paid like you grown, which you are, if you want to talk to grown folks like you grown, which you did post-game when you told a coach for an opposing team, watch your mouth. If you want to tell people get your money up, then post-game when you take an L, you just got to take it on the chin. Nobody mourns when the villain catches an L. And Angel Reese, you have self-proclaimed to be the villain.
The rivalry with Clark is sharper than ever. While Caitlin Clark captivates fans with her authentic, engaging content, Reese faces the possibility of losing both income and credibility. This unfolding financial drama underscores that in the world of podcasting, star power can only get you so far. What really matters is delivering content that resonates.
Yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
We don't get to say, well, Joe Rogan is number one and we are important too, because that's not how podcasting competition works. You know who tells you you're good? The flipping market tells you're good.
Reese's journey, filled with ambition and unexpected financial pitfalls, now stands as a powerful reminder. Fame may open doors, but it's quality that keeps them open. The question remains, will Angel Reese be able to turn things around and rebuild, or will her financial world crumble as Clark's star continues to rise?
When Angel Reese comes out and says, she ain't the only one everybody's watching, they're watching me too, they're watching others, a day later she gets ejected.
And the last clip from Angel Reese, they're watching me too. They're watching me too. It's like she's begging us to believe in her validation. And so people need to see, I think history is repeating itself, and Caitlin Clark could be raising the tide and lifting all boats. And I think Angel Reese needs to take a pill.
If you're ready to dive into the latest and greatest moments in women's basketball, you're in the right place. Here on WNBA Original, we cover everything from breaking news to inspiring stories, bringing you closer to the action and the players who make it all happen.
Make no mistake about it, it's never enough. You can never fully satisfy entitlement. Entitled people always want more.
Don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on notifications, so you'll always be the first to know what's happening on and off the court. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more from WNBA Original.